residents of Uasin Gishu County. Good afternoon, John Wanyama, as you speak to the governor of Uasin Gishu, Jackson Mandagor.
It's a sad day, Sam, and as you have said, the country is mourning. Uasin Gishu has not been left behind for whatever is happening in this country, to have lost the former president, Mwai Kibaki. And I'm privileged to have Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Mandagor. Governor, you have worked with the former president, Mwai Kibaki. What do you have to remember this hero who have slept today?
First, Wanyama, let me first, on behalf of the people of this county, and the county government of Uasin Gishu, say that as a county, indeed, is a sad moment and it's a big loss to this country for us to have lost His Excellency President Mwai Kibaki. Before I go to what I remember Mwai Kibaki for, I first must say on behalf of the people of this county that we are indebted to His Excellency President Mwai Kibaki for being the president who gave the charter to University of Eldred, making this county to be among the very few counties privileged to host two national universities within the county. Secondly, I remember Mwai Kibaki for the transformation he did in this country, particularly on matters economy, where our economy was able to grow from, I think it was approximately 5%, and we are approaching 10% annual growth as a country. We who have served in government as public servants in the past, before we came to this political life, we do remember Mwai Kibaki for creating the Vision 2030, which was a long-term economic plan that is up to today the guiding principle for development of this country, to make it a middle-level industrialized country. So as a county and as a young politician in this country, I say we have lost a great mentor, a great patriot, who served this country with dedication. 10 years of Mwai Kibaki presidency is 10 years of growth for Kenya. It is during Mwai Kibaki's time that Kenya began to make serious leaps in terms of infrastructure development, and a lot of road networks were done and opened up new and old urban and peri-urban areas, which later was to become the new growth centers for the economy. So it's a big loss to this country, and we want to pass our condolences to the family, to friends, relatives, and to those who have worked with Mwai Kibaki for a long time. Indeed, as a nation, I think this is one of our lost moments as a country, particularly now as we head towards election. Wanyama, you remember most of the politicians, whenever they're in the podium and they talk about matters economy, hardly a rally would come to an end without somebody mentioning the times of Mwai Kibaki as the president of this country. So we are indebted to him for the work he did, 10 years that made Kenya grow and made Kenya to be recognized as a serious developing country in this continent.
Maybe if you can remember Mwai Kibaki, Mheshimiwa Governor, what will you learn, what Kenya needs to learn from Mwai Kibaki, especially as a political leader, a leader who never runs around with words, a leader who has been always preaching for peace in this nation?
Number one, let me say that what I learned from Mwai Kibaki is, one, there are things that they look small, simple, but when we do them, they actually transform the country. Just look at the establishment of CDF, taking resources down there, access to education. Today, you can travel so many parts of this country and you can see a secondary school, a primary school, which is well built. 10 years of Mwai Kibaki in terms of transformation in the education sector is a whole leap that you cannot even describe. If you look at the marginalized areas of this country, when CDF came into place, so many schools were established and so many children of Kenya would have missed education were actually able to. Secondly, Mwai Kibaki was not a man who likes to be surrounded by so many people. I remember one time he was going to his rural home in Odhaya, and I think some fellows were just gathering on the road to come and cheer him, and they asked them, ladies and gentlemen, don't you have work to do? And I think if Kibaki would have been there a little bit longer as a president, probably the culture, the Kenyan politics and the culture, generally the work ethics in Kenya would have changed a great deal. commitment and being passionate to do things that transform this country, and persistence. Remember, Wanyama, President Kibaki became president in his later years of life, despite the fact that he had been a politician for a very long period of time, attempting to become the president a number of times and not making it, but finally making it. And that should be able to calm some young politicians like us, not to be in a hurry. This Kenya is not going anywhere. Kibaki was there in the scene for a longer period of time and finally became the president, and for the short period he became president for 10 years, he was able to make an impact and leave a mark that today I don't think anybody in this country can talk of the economy of Kenya without talking of Mwai Kibaki.
Mheshimiwa, lastly, we have been talking to residents of Uasin Gishu streets, and they are feeling like, are you going to name one of the streets Mwai Kibaki in his name?
Thank you very much, Wanyama. We are in the process. You know, the Cities and Urban Act was passed. We're in the process of implementing. We have just finished establishing an ad hoc committee as per the law to actually look at the issues of street naming and monuments and so forth. And I think through public participation, because there will be a whole team to go around and our citizens to present names of those heroes and heroines that want to be definitely honored. And I think for Mwai Kibaki, I don't think anybody needs to write any citation. The citation is already with the public. So I think at the appropriate time, the committee will be making decisions, and I'm sure it is also time to name some of the, some places with Mwai Kibaki for the work he did.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Governor Jackson Mandagor. Sam, as you have heard from Governor Uasin Gishu, Jackson Mandagor, as he has said, Mwai Kibaki is a leader that many Kenyans really are saying is an icon with a lot of lessons that they have learned from, especially in economy and political class, that each and everyone now should learn from him and emulate him, and as the country prepare to rest him. Sam, from here we'll be heading to the streets just to hear from what the residents are having here, but a few whom we have talked to, they have said that they are really hoping and praying that the Uasin Gishu county government, they will name one of the street under Mwai Kibaki's name. Sam.
All right, thank you.